Hey folks, so here we are with our post Sam Rayburn review. Now, for those of you who've been following along, you know that Sam Rayburn was a terrible event for me. So this video is we're gonna look at some video of the event and then talk about turning failure into learning or education. I ultimately ended up with one fish for the event. Which is a startling difference from last year where I managed the top 10. So where do we start? First of all, last year the water was 10 feet high. This year the water was about a foot low or 2 feet low. Here's a little video showing the difference on one of my spots. A lot of my friends were saying, just go back to your magic tree. Well, here's my magic tree. See this sign right here? This sign here is about head level on me right now. Last year it had about 4 feet more water above that sign. It's crazy. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is practice. You know, I went into this event knowing that the lake was fishing kind of tough, and I spent the first 2 days of practice, you know, running around some shallow hydrilla. I was looking for fish, getting a few fish in around the hay grass, and but not a lot of bites. I think day 2 I had 2 bites. Day 2 I probably had 5 or 6, 7 bites. So I felt, you know, if I run around from a few spots to spots, you know, I can come across my limit. Day 3 I decided to venture a little bit deeper. I headed way up lake, and we got some video right here. And I went back to some stuff I was doing last year, deep cranking, and I was so excited. The first spot I showed up on, the spot was covered in bait. On about my 4th cast, I caught this 4-pounder. Then 2 casts later, I got this awesome, beautiful 6-pounder, and you know, I got really excited. I was looking to found these fish. They were off the main brake line, sitting in 22, 23 feet of water, and you know, I spent about 6 hours trying to duplicate this. You know, scanning around, looking for fish. I was marking some fish. I was marking some bait, but I never really caught anything. kept running. I probably burned 3/4 of a tank of gas, and you know, in retrospect, looking back, I think that might have been one of my problems. I just ran around too much. It's kind of my style. I like to run and gun, and that was not something that came into play in this tournament. So I ended up day one with one fish. Not gonna keep. Day two, trying to figure out what I was gonna do. Obviously, way behind, looking to make a big move. I decided, after speaking to one of my roommates, Hunter, who was sitting inside the top 10 with, I believe he had a great bag of 18 pounds, found out he caught them in the same general vicinity that I started in. He just stuck it out and got on a bit of an afternoon deal, so I decided I was going to go right back there. So off I went, run back up, throw that big crankbait around. I stuck it out a little bit longer. I was probably about 3 or 4 hours. Unfortunately, very little show for it. I had 3 bites on those deeper fish. These 2 short largemouth that you see here. This one fish, felt like a good one, pulled off right away. Actually learned a little lesson there. I think I was a little too heavy on my Carolina rig setup. You know, I was running a 7.3 medium heavy Halo Black Widow setup, but I think the problem was I was running 40-pound braid. So when I set into those fish, it just seemed a little bit jarring, and hook ultimately pulled out. So we live and learn, we'll adjust there. Spent the rest of the day running around. You know, I only got one more bite at about, and here it is coming up here at about, I don't know, 2:30 in the afternoon. I believe my check-in was 3 o'clock. I ran down to this one little patch of hydrilla, and you know, when I set up to it, I threw that T-Mac worm in and got bit by this 4 or 5 pounder. Looked like a good hook set, felt like a good hook set, and when I turned to grab the net, she just turned and dropped and took off. So ended up coming in with 0 fish on day 2. It happens. It happens. So, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this massive failure? Because fishing is really a mental game after the fishing aspect of it. And, you know, I had a 12-hour drive from Texas to Florida. Think about it. And one, I never really got on any good fish. I accept that. I also think possibly my general style of fishing, you know, I like to hit a lot of spots, get 1 or 2 bites here and there, was a way to go. And it just wasn't, the bites weren't there to be had. And you can see this in the results. I mean, we were expecting 12 pounds a day to get a check, and I think it was less than 10. I think it was like 9.5, maybe 9.75 pound. 9.75 pounds got paid. Yeah, so get down on myself. No, I don't do that. Disappointed myself, yeah, a little bit, but you got to get over it. You move on to the next one. Of course, you start to think, you get the mental game. You think, you know, I can't do this. I don't have what it takes. I can't figure this stuff out. And how do you fight those demons? Because they're the demons that get in your head and they'll mess you up. And one of the best things to do is think about some of your past successes. I've done this before. I've competed at this level. I've had some success. I've had great successes at other levels. So recognize that you have the ability, and put this one behind you. You know, I put myself in a bit of a deficit to make the championship, which is on kind of my home body water. So that's disappointing, but we're gonna grind it and see where we can go. We'll remember this as a lesson. You know, tough bite. The run and gun technique is not necessarily the way to go. Find an area, stick with it. You know, grind it out. You know, congratulations to a couple of my roommates, Kevin Meeks, James Biggs. They did exactly that. They didn't move around a lot. They both scored a check after a terrible tournament. Um, yeah, we had a great house we stayed at. We had 6 fantastic guys in there. If you head on over to Ryan Salzman's YouTube channel, he's got some great videos, some antics that happened around the house. So it'll be a good season traveling with some of these guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna move on to the next one. Coming up, the first video, once I get back down to Florida, I'm finally gonna have my boat all set up. I got a new boat wrap, a new truck wrap, some new products on my boat, new to me products. So we'll be reviewing all that and fill you in. Again, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe down below. Head on over to Facebook, Instagram. Give me a like. We got some contests coming soon, and hopefully we'll have a great season. Onward and upward from here.